Yeah, I got a lot of things I want to hit here real quick if you guys don't mind my bitch session.
Yeah, didn't you need an opinion from us or some shit?
So Illinois, you need a license plate sticker. So here's the thing. Everybody talks about how Illinois, like Missouri has personal property tax and luxury tax or whatever the hell it is just for owning something. And everybody comes to Illinois and they're like, oh, well, I'll just, blah, blah, blah over here. And then I can get my blah, blah, blah off there. Bazooba guabo. Each state has the same amount of taxes. All they do is they shred it into different areas. Ours is like the license plate sticker. Every year, do you guys have to renew your license plate stickers in Missouri?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Well, every year we have to renew them. And it first started when I first started driving, it was like $50. Well, now it's $150 some odd dollars to change the sticker out. It is insane. Every year they just raise it, and last year was 109, I think.
Do you have to get an inspection and everything?
Yeah, but that's now every other year, but every year you still have to pay to get a new license plate sticker. So you see where our taxes kind of even each other out, where you guys pay, what is it, every year for personal property tax, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. The same thing in ours. But we are the most taxed nation. That I and I could be wrong, but I looked at the county, the state, the federal, and the municipalities, cities, all that other stuff. You just driving into another city, like from, St. Louis to St. Charles or whatever, your taxes are going to be way different from either side. It's insane. And I'm just fed up with it. I'm so fed up with it because you're hearing, let's take, for example, okay, my license plate sticker. When is it going to get enough to where everyone's going to bitch and go, you know what, I'm not going to fucking pay this anymore because it's too high now. Because the cost of living goes up while the cost of, what you make stays the fucking same. When does it? Yeah. So the question is, when is there a breaking point where we fucking hit the ceiling? And what is, I'm just so tired of politicians. I want to get them all out. I mean, we have to have a better system to get rid of them because it's going to end up being something that could turn violent if you think about it. They already vandalized, what's her face's house, Nancy Pelosi and, the Mitch Senate McConnell. Guy. What's that name? Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. And then those recordings came out yesterday.
What recordings?
You didn't hear Trump got recorded talking to the Georgia state. Well, it was.
What did he say?
It was the state attorney's office. It's on tape. You can listen to the recording. He is basically telling him to find 11,080 votes because that's what he needed to overturn. I think he was down by like 11,000, and he basically kind of like hinted at. It could be criminal if you don't listen to me. Are you going to do it? It was an hour-long conversation, but there were a bunch of clips that they played on like Drudge, and it's not good. They're talking like criminal charges. Like it's getting serious. They're going to the FBI to open up an investigation for trying to tamper with an election, conspiracy to like election fraud or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, this came out yesterday. Well, here's the thing, though. Trump called this guy in Georgia, and after he said that, he went on Twitter and posted that this guy didn't know what he was talking about, blah, blah, blah. Basically didn't mention any of the conversation. Well, the guy he spoke to went on Twitter and said, well, in all due respect, you're making these claims and the information that you have is wrong. It's not there. And the truth will come out. And then what happened, 12 hours later was that tape was released to the Washington Post.
Now, hold on. Let me, how do I approach this without sounding like an advocate to this? But doesn't every politician do what they can to win?
Yeah, but he was asking basically for him to overturn Georgia. The thing I don't overturn
Again,
basically.
where is this that other people do not do?
Well, you
It's
have
just
to prove
he
that,
got caught
and he's
doing
on
it?
tape. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got caught.
So he's the one who got caught. But all the thousands of other politicians who do this don't get caught.
Here's the thing. When politicians make calls like that, when you have incoming calls to attorneys' offices and stuff like that, it's all recorded. They know it's recorded.
Yeah.
They don't release them. So once that call was over, they weren't going to release the tape unless Trump started spitting out false information again, especially about so that's what he did.
But what caused that information to come out? What was the cause for Trump to respond?
Well, no, he was proactively calling that guy in Georgia, trying to get
Secretary of State.
Yeah, Secretary of State. He called that office 18 times in the last month, and finally, when the White House is calling, he's ghosting the president. That place called his office 19 times to speak to him.
Okay.
And then he finally picked up.
What made him go to Twitter to respond?
Because the guy would not do what he wanted. He wanted the guy to overturn the results. And he's like, there's no evidence of fraud. I can't overturn. You want me to overturn?
I get that part, but where was it that when he posted on Twitter, Trump, it was to bash that guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, but why would he need to do that if he couldn't get a hold of them?
No, he ended up getting a hold of them.
He bashed them after the call.
After the call.
So, for no reason, he just popped on Twitter to bash this guy about a conversation that he shouldn't have even brought up to the public people.
Yep.
Okay.
100%. Yep.
So, now I understand. Now, that's why I'm asking. It's like, it doesn't seem logical.
No. But
why would somebody incriminate their own selves?
Because he probably didn't think that someone would have the balls to do that. I don't know. That is a big move, but I think people are getting tired.
Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like me having a conversation with you, Aaron, about we're talking shit on each other about, pencils or something. And then I just get on my Twitter going, me and Aaron had a badass conversation about pencils and he didn't agree with me. Woo!
Yeah, but it's political. They're not talking pencils. They're talking a presidential election.
I know. I'm keeping it simple as an example, but you're telling me that's what he did. He called this guy, finally got a hold of him, finally had this conversation which didn't go his way, and then gets on Twitter and just starts bashing him.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
That's Trump's MO.
That doesn't make any sense. It sounds like he is
because he's
special.
Used to getting it. No, he's used to bullying people, and he didn't get his way, and that's just what I don't know. That's just what happened.
So we're going from a bully to an Alzheimer. What the fuck is wrong with us as a country?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, those were our two choices: a bully or
and a geriatric.
Yes,
yeah. I don't think Biden's gonna be there long before.
No,
it'll be President Harris.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think and if that was the goal, why don't they just fucking run her then? She doesn't come out
because she probably couldn't win by herself.
She wouldn't have been able to beat him. That's right.
Yeah, because I don't fucking understand where the fucking American public or the DNC or whatever the fuck you want to talk about is sitting there going, oh, out of the fucking 12 choices, Biden is the best one? What the fuck is wrong with people?
Before we move on to Biden, so after this phone call came out, let me back up. I'll be real quick. So last month, whenever the president is going to take a trip anywhere, they have reconnaissance teams check out airports to make sure that everything's clear. They do surveillance. Well, they have set up a flight plan for a major plane, a 757, to land in Scotland the day before the inauguration, and Scotland Yard and a couple of Scotland papers are insinuating that it's going to be Trump, and they're wondering why Trump is scheduling an overseas flight And apparently, the way the flight is set up, it's set up for him to be there for quite a while. So why is this plane leaving? The plane they're using is the one that like the vice president would, use. But why are you using that the day before the election to go to Scotland? That's what they're asking. I have no idea. But
I don't know. I mean, look, I was never a supporter of Trump, but I always gave him the benefit of the doubt because unlike most asshats they call themselves Americans, I don't care who's in presidency, if I like him or if I dislike him. That's our president. So I'm not going to sit there and critique the shit out of it. I'll say some things that I'm not happy with. I did the same thing with all of them, but I'm not going to sit there and hate on him because of that. I mean, he's our president. He was elected, however legal or illegal. That's how I look at it.
You're right. I mean, you can do that.
But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and pull that whole bullshit of, I don't recognize my president. He gives a fuck. He's our president.
It doesn't matter. You're in the law of the land that's who's in charge. So I don't care
if you hate him or like him, have your opinion, but don't sit there and go, I don't recognize him, because you're still going to pay the fucking taxes at the end of the goddamn day, which circles back to the shitty taxes we got to keep paying. I'm tired of it, dude. A
lot of the policy they make, that doesn't affect us directly. When you look at big government, federal, we're affected more on the state level,
state and local.
No,
those are the things you need to pay attention to the most.
Yeah,
that's 100% true.
Really,
let me add to that though. And I've said this before. The only thing I know about government is a bill I have to pay. If I go and ask them a question, so if I go to the Secretary of State, Jesse White, and try to call him or try to send an email or try to send a fucking letter.
Who's been your Secretary of State for how many years now?
Yeah, unopposed, no one, I don't know what the fuck it is, but try calling your Secretary of State. Try calling any of your politicians and ask them, I need you to fix something because this is not right. Nothing will happen or you won't even get through. So when is the day that we're going to rise up as one and tell them no?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think we have an answer to that.
No,
we don't. Look, this is my answer to it. And I said this before too. I think the problem is because everyone is intimidated by the idea that politicians have done so much work because they're lawyers and they're lawmakers and all this other shit that they can sit there and manipulate things. And we go, that's too complex for me. I don't want to deal with it. But let's keep it simple. We can literally just go, we're stop paying in everything. You're fired in our eyes. Get the fuck out. Okay? And what are they going to do? Are they really going to call the police or the cops or whatever on everyone? And if they do that, that's just going to cause violence to happen. So the thing is, there has to be some kind of change. For example, when you're a millionaire and you're asking someone who makes like $40,000 a year to pay more taxes, they're going to get mad.
I think what they're looking at, I mean, especially when they're talking about, what is it, universal income, taxing like these huge companies like Walmart and Amazon, they skate by with so many like tax breaks that they have so much money that they can just put away in these other places and they don't have to report all this shit.
That came out in the 2016 elections between Hillary and Donald Trump, because Hillary tried calling him out on it, and the first thing he rebutted back is, you do the same thing, Hillary. And I love that.
Does.
And yes. And then you hear that, and then everybody just goes, nah, I don't know what they're talking about.
No,
I have no clue.
This is gonna make my blood boil. So, listeners, you get to experience what Matt Lampy is like when he gets mad.
And drop an F-bomb.
It's pretty tame, I will tell you that. So, here is what is the most frustrating thing about all of this entire conversation. So, essentially, and I'll try to make this as coherent as possible. So essentially, what we are arguing about is the fact that the politicians give tax breaks to corporations. And to Paul's point, and Donald Trump, when he called out Hillary Clinton in the debates, is they go around giving tax breaks to big businesses, i.e. stadiums being built, sports teams. That is one of the absolute worst possibilities for you, the taxpayer. You are getting reamed by the fact that these places do not have to pay anything. All the tax revenue is coming from the consumer themselves. And people are uneducated. They don't want to pay attention. They just bury their head in the fucking sand, and it causes them to just ignore everything around them because they're so worried about what the next best thing is that's on Netflix, and they don't know. They're not using the information that is completely available to them. And so you, as a consumer, and yes, we are consumers of not only sports entertainment, but we are also consumers and the employers of everyone in the government. And it is our responsibility as taxpayers to fully understand and double check, audit, whatever you want to call it, what they are doing. And we are not doing it at all.
No, I didn't know any of that. So I was going with my selfish problem of I don't want to sit there and pay more every year for a license plate sticker.
Well, no, they've got to hit these companies. I mean, what was it? McDonald's. You know, they're like the largest landowner, I think, in North America, because they keep the land that they put their franchises on. So you can buy the franchise, but you don't get the property.
Hmm.
So they're a land developer at that point. Same thing with Walmart.
So they can charge rent then for the place. Wow.
Yeah, if you own a franchise, you're paying, but you're not getting the land.
Yeah, but that's now. Let me stop real quick. So stadiums to McDonald's, all that stuff. Isn't that just business? Isn't that like? I'm not trying to write it off, but I'm just saying, isn't that just businesses trying to squeeze every opportunity they can from their business?
Absolutely. It is the system that's been built around us. And unfortunately, the person that gets whacked the most is the consumer. And the problem is most people do not do the research that is needed in order for them to make the best decision for them and their families. They just want to think and act on things that are going to just make them feel good, quite honestly. Because, yeah, it is much better if I could do what Aaron's been talking about, which is universal basic income, where I don't have to do jack and I get paid. That is called Communism 101.
Good, because I was curious about it. Now, they're saying that no matter what, we get paid to do nothing.
Right. But what you also have to look at is some of these companies like Walmart and, Schnucks, your supermarket, they have all this labor that they can cut if they go to automation. So, you're cutting. The largest, I think, and I don't know if Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the largest part of a budget for a company is payroll, isn't it?
100%, yes.
So if you're cutting staff because you go to automation, if they figure out how to do it, they're going to eliminate jobs. That's when they up the taxes on these corporations.
Yes.
Okay.
But no, you're right. But the problem is then when you don't have, or when you have people doing universal income, then those people don't want to work. Then it's going to hurt competition. It's going to
hurt everything, because if you don't want to work, you're getting money, but then, well, actually, I don't know. It's just a recycling of money if you think about this. So, because we're all consumers. We're not, whatever, anything else. You got to go to Walmart. You got to go to McDonald's. You got to go to Aldi's. You got to go to Sam's. You got to go whatever to get whatever you use. Let me use an example of Walmart, okay? I wake up, I go to Walmart, I buy me a hot dog, right? Go back, sit down, eat it, whatever. Wait for my next thing to come in. So you see, it's just recycling itself. There is no profit to be made. How do you make a profit if you're not buying more than what you need?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but I mean, back to what Matt said, as far as communism goes, the only difference with that is like your farms and your companies, that money, those profits aren't going to go to the state. So, I mean, if you look at like, China back, in the 60s, they take all this land from these farmers. They can grow what they can eat. The rest of the food goes to the state. All the money goes to the state.
But where is the profit gain? We're a capitalistic country. Where's the profit to make us communism? Communism.
there's no profit with communism.
Yeah, it all gets shared.
It's all shared.
So why does America, of all places, want this to happen? You know, little Tommy doesn't think, you know, these right. Kiddos want to be like, oh, I want to have universal income, but I still want to buy my Xbox. I still want to buy my fucking whatever it is. But those cost a lot of money. You're not going to make enough. When it comes to communism, you make just enough to like live, right?
No, you'll still have you can work but you'll also get a base, you know, income every month or whatever it is.
So you work, but you don't work for a salary anymore, right? You just work.
Yeah, you can work for a salary. From what I understand, if you go on Andrew Yang's website, he breaks it all down, and I think it looks good on paper. I don't know who.
Well, communism always looks good on paper.
That's not communism. It's just universal income.
It's communism light. It's socialism. That's what that is. Which is communism light.
0 calories.
That's right. All the communism, no calories.
Right. No, I agree with capitalism, and there's a bunch of faults with capitalism. Like,
absolutely.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space.
What's the saying?
So how does this
doesn't mean that's
I'm sorry. I'm still confused. Can you still make your own business if you're on a universal health thing? Can I still say, I want a podcast that makes me a fucking money? Woo! Can I still make a brick and mortar?
Or you can say, I'll do it for free and I'll just live on the universal basic income.
Why would you want to work for free?
Well, then I think, you know, prices are going to go up on certain things because you can't have everybody living in the same place.
Okay, so prices go up. Does the income go up?
Not the universal basic income. And I am sure incomes at companies' salaries will either be stagnant or fall, correct?
So, because right now I'm having that issue, right? You get to a certain level, you want to get to promoted because the only good jobs not good jobs, but the only jobs that pay more are upper in the ladder. And it's hard to get into those, especially when you
now.
Well, that, and even beforehand, you got to know people. It's about nepotism. It's not really about skill. It's about college degree, not about skill. Do you see the pattern I'm going with this? So it's hard already, but then it makes it to where you don't want to anymore with the universal, right? There's no challenge anymore. That's fine with me. But somebody still has to do that job for less pay.
Right.
Wow. Who's going to accept that?
I don't know anybody.
Well, if you take that less pay, you're going to add that on to what you're getting.
Oh, wait, hold on. Are you saying that the universal income is just a flat thing? And then you make let's say you make $13 an hour. That's added on to it?
Yep.
Wow, how bad will our taxes be then?
I don't think the taxes are technically going to hit us. I know they'll hit us.
Then who pays for the universal amount for everyone else?
Corporations.
Yeah. Corporations will pay this.
They're going to get hit with big taxes. So I'm sure there'll be brackets. Like if you're a company with this many employees making less than $500,000 a year, you'll pay this and up and so on.
Wow. The companies are going to find a way around this or cut everything down to where it's like shit product.
Yeah.
And we're going to be okay with that?
No. But they snuck all that stuff in. Just like with the checks they just sent out, they snuck in a little fine print of, if you're streaming music and charging, you can go to prison.
Seriously, can we just run up to the White House and beat these people down with sticks or something? I know it sounded bad to say that. I'm not a violent person, but we did a show on the last stimulus, and now this is again, but this is even more moronic, okay? The last stimulus, we had $120 million going to a fucking museum that is closed for COVID. What the fuck? That no one's ever heard about. And then this one is about Napster shit and fucking let's go to fucking what is it, Turkey, and look for fucking gender surveys. What the fuck is going on? I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's true.
feel
It's
helpless because we have no say-so, and we allowed them to do that to us.
Correct.
Why aren't we fucking getting as mad as me and going up there and just going, no, stop now, and stop fucking, I
don't know. I think there's too many things going on in this social, with, Black Lives Matter and, the MAGA rallies and Proud Boys and
yeah,
that whole thing.
and I believe the
calming down.
conspiracy theory